discuss. Actually, basically for science curriculum, right? It happens like we also need to cover the objectives, okay, and we also need to cover the some of the extra information because paper is unseen, so we are not aware. Maybe they can give any of the relevant things are irrelevant to the objective can also come. There is no restriction for that. So I got some of the terms from like that would be new terms maybe for you, but you need to go through these definitions as well. I will share the link and later on you can also go through. Yes, so there are some definitions given over there. I want you to just one by one to whom I will be taking the name. He or she will be unmuting yourself, right? And then just tell me that what's written over there. Yes, we can start from Narmeen. Yes, Narmeen, please unmute yourself, beta, and can you read the definition of solutions?
Okay, ma'am. Solutions. Type of mixture in which all components are evenly distributed.
Right. So you all are aware about the solutions. This is not a new term for you. Means it's the type of mixture in which all components are evenly like there is a uniform composition of everything in solution, right? Okay, what is solubility? Fatma, please can you unmute yourself and read the definition of solubility? I think Fatma has some problem with mic maybe. Okay, so
Ma'am, can I?
Ji Naderi, you can read better.
Solubility. The ability of one substance to dissolve in another at a given temperature and pressure, expressed in terms and amount of solute that will dissolve in a given amount of solvent to produce a saturated solution.
Okay, so we already got the definition of solubility from our book as well. Like it's the ability of any of the substance to dissolve in another substance at a given temperature and pressure. It's expressed in terms of amount of solute that will dissolve in a given amount of solvent to produce a saturated solution. So then we also talked about saturated, unsaturated, and different types of solutions are there. Okay, here we are having solvent. Yes, Ali Siddiq, please unmute yourself and read the definition of solvent.
Solvent are liquids.
Uh,
Okay, ma'am.
A liquid substance
Mhm.
capable of dissolving other substances.
Yes, please remember that whenever we need to recognize different types of like solvent and solute, right? So we are just going to recognize the solvent as it's a liquid substance. Okay? It's a liquid substance that is capable of dissolving other substances in it. Yes, so that's the liquid substance. Okay, Anaya, please, you can unmute yourself and read the definition for solute.
The substance that is dissolved in a solution.
Yes, that's a substance that is basically dissolved in a solution that is mixed up with solvent and it will make a solution, right? Aqueous solution is like Hubs, you have just joined now. Please unmute yourself and read the definition of aqueous solution. Okay. Um, That's okay, I'm going to read it. Aqueous solution is basically any type of solution, we can say. So, any type of solution in which solvent is always water, right? Basically, we can make many types of solutions and it's not dependent on only that water will be the solvent. Solvent can also be the other substance as well, like juices, milk is also the type of solvent, right? Any of the liquid, any liquid can be a solvent, but where we are having a universal solvent, and you know the universal solvent is water, so where we are having a universal solvent, it's water. So we are making the solution with the water, it's called aqueous solution simply, right? Next is saturation. Yes, the act of soaking thoroughly with the liquid, like if we are soaking something thoroughly with the liquid, like how it will perform. Basically, the act meanings over here, that how the things will be performing when we are mixing it up thoroughly with the liquid. That's called saturation. Then it's super saturation. We talked about super saturated solutions and then normal solutions and then like unsaturated solutions as well. Yes, super saturated. Arsalan, can you unmute yourself and please read the definition of supersaturated solutions?
Yes, ma'am.
Supersaturation. Please read the definition of this one.
Super saturation.
Yes. I think so. Screen
Solution.
would be visible. G. Screen is
Yes.
visible now. So read the definition.
A solution that contains more solute than it takes for saturation.
Yes. All right. It's supersaturation. Okay. Next is the term effervescence. I know it's a new term for you, but it was also given in the resource, so you need to go through the definition. It's the process of bubbling as the gas escapes. What can you understand from this definition? Can you just tell me any of the real life example that you can relate with it? Like, what is effervescence? It's basically, we can say, it's a fact. And what is this one fact? This is fact that the gas, bubbles of gas exist in a liquid. Some types of liquids are there. Their bubbles of gases are present, and it's a fact. Okay, they exist in that liquid. So, like, which type of liquids are with the bubbles of gases? Can you tell me any real life example? We can see many of the liquids that are with the bubble of gases. So,
Boiling water.
yes, beta, in which type of liquids you can find out the bubbles of gases? Any idea about it? Okay, what
Ma'am,
about
an
fizzy?
example?
What about fizzy drinks? What about fizzy drinks? Fizzy drinks are the examples of these type of like this is fizzy drinks are the example of effervescence, right? So effervescence means where in which liquid we can find out the bubbles of gas as well, right? So you know these type of fizzy drinks are also the examples of, and this term means that where the gas bubbles are present in the liquid, the gas is escaping from the liquid. Okay, these are also the new terms for you. Molarity, and even if we are adding some things in the acid as well, na? Like we have done the chemical reactions in the science lab, so some chemical reaction that is being happened can also be related with effervescence, like some things are added in acid and they show the bubble of gases as well when the chemical reactions are being happened. So this term can also be linked with effervescence. Okay, so there are others two new terms. One is molarity and one is molality. Okay, so what is molarity? It's basically the concentration of the number of moles of solute in per liter of solvent. Moles means that how many particles of solute are present in per liter of solvent. This is the formula of molarity, right? Okay, mixture. A substance consisting of two or more substances mixed together, not in fixed proportions and not with the chemical bonding, means they are not chemically reacting with one another, so it's a mixture. We already know about that. Molality is the molar. Achha, one word was molarity and one word is molality. Basically, molarity was having the formula of that it was a concentration of solute particles in per liters of solvent. Okay, that is molarity. But if we are just talking about the concentration of solute and we are not comparing it with per liters of solvent, that's called molarity. Suspension is a mixture of water and non-dissolved materials, like um, some types of like syrups that we use in our daily lives. Oral suspensions, maybe you have listened about, like we use powder type of medicines. Yeah, we used to mix water in it and then produce So those are also called suspensions. Basically, there is also type of non-dissolved material that will not be dissolving in a water, but they will act for the accordingly as an antibiotic, right? Achha, then there was solubility curve. We already talked about a graph indicating the solubility of particular solute at different temperatures. Then there were heterogeneous, homogeneous. We have gone through in them. So again, just for reminding you, I can just differentiate these two types of homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Like simply, if I would be relating it a salad that we use in our daily life can be the example of heterogeneous mixtures, right? And homogeneous mixtures are the types of solutions like sugary water, salty water, where there is a uniform composition. Okay? Okay. Precipitate is simply that um, while I can relate it with that, if we are mixing up the sugar in water, then if we are going to separate sugar from water, we can use a method of evaporation, right? And the remaining leftover sugar that we will be getting after evaporation, that we can separate the substance from it. After that, we will get the precipitate. Okay, so this is fine suspension of the solid particles that we can get. Okay, so we have gone through the definitions, just a practice test I'm going over there. Okay, so almost we are having 16 definitions. Okay, so I can go through it. You first of all, I chose the options of true and false as well, and multiple choices as well. So who want to share the answer? Please, you can raise your hand, and at the end we can see that how many questions we have done right and how many we have done wrong. Okay, then we will move forward for history class. G. Arsalan. First of all, please read it and
It's true.
it's true. Okay, it's true. All right. I also say that it's true. Okay, but at the end we will be able to see. G. Next. Who wants to answer? Please raise your hand. Otherwise, I can take the name of anyone. Again, Arsalan. Anybody else who want to share the answer? G. Nadeli. Yes, Nadeli. Please read it and share the answer. Is it true or false?
False.
Okay, Nadeli is saying it's false. A solution in which the solvent is water, it's supersaturation. False. I think so. It was aqueous solution, right? It's false. Yes. Okay, now Anaya, can you please unmute yourself as I am only having 5 to 6 participants right now, so you can just unmute and share the answers with me. Yes, Anaya, please unmute yourself and tell me, is it true or false? Gee, only Arsalan is raising hand. No one else. Yes, Arsalan, you can tell me the answer.
It's false.
Okay, it's false. Acha beta, actually when I'm sharing the screen sometimes I'm not visible with your raising hands as well. So who want to share the answer you can just unmute as we are not having so much participants, so you can share your answer directly with me. Okay. And
Ma'am,
please you
that
all
was
as okay, alright. G yes, a substance consisting of two or more substances mixed together, not in fixed proportions and not with chemical bonding. It's a mixture. Is it true or false?
true.
True.
Okay, it's true. Good. Right, solvent. A liquid substance capable of dissolving other substances. Is it true or false?
True.
Okay. Any combination of substances that has uniform composition, a mixture that is uniform throughout, is called homogeneous mixture. Nadili, you can mute yourself, beta. Okay. Yes. Is it true or false? Yes, Hafs, Fatma, Anaya. You people are not speaking. Please share the answer. Is it true or false?
True.
Hmm.
I think it's true, but I'm not sure.
Yes, it's true, beta. It's true. Alright. Okay, supersaturation, a solution that contains more solute than it takes for saturation.
True.
True.
Alright. Okay. Separate as a fine suspension of solid particles. Precipitate. Yes, it's true or false. Give it up. Is it true or false? Yes, it's true.
I think it's true.
Okay.
True.
Okay, now we are on multiple choices, a graph indicating the solubility of a particular solute at different temperatures. Yes. Which of the option should I select for it? Yes, please tell me which of the options should I select from it. A graph indicating the solubility of a particular solute.
Solubility curve.
Yes, solubility curve, right? Okay. And what about molar concentration? Choose the matching term. Molarity?
Molarity.
Molarity.
Molality.
Yes, exactly. Okay, mixture of water in non-dissolved materials.
Suspension.
Yes, suspension. The substance that is dissolved in a solution.
Solute.
Solute.
Solute, right? Type of mixture in which all components are evenly distributed. Evenly distributed, yes. Which of the options should I select?
Heterogeneous mixture.
Aqueous solution.
No, no. Basically, heterogeneous was that where they were not evenly distributed. Na? So, which is a component where, which
Aqueous
type of mixture?
solution.
Aqueous solution.
No,
Aqueous
beta.
solution.
No, no. Aqueous solution was a solution with water.
Solution.
Yes, it's only solution, and there can be, if the option is homogeneous mixture, that can also be considered correct. It's solutions. Okay. The act of soaking thoroughly for the liquid.
Solubility.
Saturation.
Saturation. Okay. I also think it's saturation. Concentration measured by the number of moles of solute per liter of solvent.
Molarity.
Precipitate. Precipitate.
Yes.
Precipitate.
Precipitate.
No, it's molarity. Molarity. Number of moles of solute per liter of solvent. It's molarity. A mixture in which pure substances are unevenly distributed. Now they are not evenly distributed. Ji.
Heterogeneous mixture.
Heterogeneous mixture.
Heterogeneous mixture.
Yes.
Heterogeneous mixture.
Okay.
Two questions are there.
Yes, I will also review skipped questions. Okay, some of the questions we have skipped. Separate is a fine suspension of solid particles. It's precipitate. I think so. We have done it. That was true, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Yes,
that
ma'am.
was true. And we are left with this one, molar concentration,
Modality.
molality. We
Modality.
have also done with
Molarity.
it. Again, they are saying all done, but it's 15 out of 16. Okay, separate is again.
True.
This
Yes,
True.
question is submitted. Again,
yes,
title got submitted.
yes. So we got 16 correct and there was no incorrect answer basically. Okay, so this link I would also be sharing it with you beta in your group, but मैं अभी share कर देती हूँ. And this you need to practice for the definitions as well. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
जी.
Okay, ma'am.
After science we are having some break, but I would not be preferring the break. Just we can. I am going to share with you your this one task and the homework worksheet. Okay, that you have to do. Then we can just without break move on to the history one. Okay, is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So just give me 2 minutes. I'm just going to share it, and then we are moving towards the history one period, right? Till then you can just take your history notebooks and books. Okay, and yesterday we were not having a history class, right? So today we have to start it and we need to start the revision from the first one topic, that is about middle ages, right? So please open up the first topic from your history books, right? And you need to just read the information about middle ages. Yes, I have shared your this one link as well and your home task in your group, right? So we can just move towards history. Gee, will you recall some of the points that what were the Middle Ages? Anybody from you, can you just recall some of the points about the Middle Ages?
The Middle Ages took place between 500 CE and 1500 CE. They lasted for 1000 years. The Middle Ages were also called the Dark Ages because of financial corruption and lack of interest in studying.
Yeah, all right.
And Europe in the Middle Ages uh, had some specific things they did in real life. Um, but they followed feudalism, which was a system that favored the rich and the poor lived in miserable conditions.
Good, all right. Okay, G. So I have a one PowerPoint resource that I want to share it with you about the Middle Ages. Please go through it and collectively we will discuss. Um, as you are only some of the students, so please don't sit and mute yourself. Unmute yourself and please speak up. We are going to discuss about this one, that what was Middle Ages, what was the time period of Middle Ages, Dark Ages as well, and so screen is already shared. You need to go through it and one by one I will be taking names. You have to read it and we are going to discuss. Okay, as in the first slide, it's only mentioned the time period of Middle Ages, right? I'm moving forward towards the next. Okay, right. How was the society in the Middle Ages? Yes. Yes, who wants to read it willingly?
Me.
Yes, I mean.
Society in the Middle Ages. When Geoffrey Chaucer wrote his Canterbury Tales in the 1380s, he set them in the
Yes.
context of the time. He imagined a group of pilgrims going to the shrine of Thomas Becket at Canterbury. In his introduction, he tells about the people who were there, including carpenter, cook, doctor, dyer, friar, knight, lawyer, merchant, miller, monk, nun, plowman, priest, prioress, reeve, sailor, soldier, squire, tapestry, weaver.
Great, right. So, yes. Anybody else wants to read? Or only Nalini is there to read?
I will read.
Yes, sure. Please read it.
Medieval writer divided society into those who fight, those who pray, and those who work, and 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 Chaucer included all three sorts of people in his book. From the list of his characters, which would you put into each category?
Like what he simply did, he took these all peoples that were we have read in the first one slide, and then he just grouped them all in three types of groups, and they are given over here. Yes, yes, and who are those? He grouped them in this one order that you can see on your screens, like those who fight, those who pray, and those who work. Okay, so he just kept them in three types of groups, right? Knight, squire, soldier for those who fight, prioress, nun, priest, monk, friar, those who pray, and then those who work basically a merchant, lawyer, carpenter, weaver, dyer, tapestry, weaver, cook, sailor, these like men, miller, and weave. These all were the working peoples, like so basically, there were three types of groups. One is squire, prioress, and merchant, according to the person, Chaucer's. Okay, that he kept them in these type of groups. Next slide. Yes, the feudal system. Yes, can you read and go through it, beta? G. Anyone who is willing to read it?
Maybe
Now I can read it again.
I can read.
Yes. J. Arsalan, you can read.
These groups were ordered into a social hierarchy known as the feudal system. It had the king
Yes.
at the top with all
Social
of the
hierarchy
control.
known as the feudal system. Yes.
It had the king at the top with all of the control, and the peasants at the bottom doing all the work. The feudal system provided order and stability. Everyone knew their place and what they had to do. The manorial system provided for an economy that was based on farming and being self sufficient. on the monarchy.
Okay, so what do you think? This was a feudal system that is given over there. That king were having all of the charges, right? And then there was the peasants and all the workers. Like those who were low, they were considered very lower, right? So was it like good one, or what were the drawbacks of this type of system, right? And what do you think? Was it right for the economic growth, or this was not a good system? You need to share
It
your
wasn't
opinion, Jivita.
it wasn't really a good system because there was inequality between the peasants and the rich men who owned land and money, and
Exactly. Yeah.
there, there shouldn't have been
Mhm.
inequality between people because they're all made by Allah and they're all supposed to be equal.
Yes, yes. And basically, they were not having the right of their own privileges, right? They were not able to live freely. So that were not the good points from that system, right? Okay, who were peasants? Obviously, the majority of population in the Middle Ages, like majority, they kept in the peasants. They are all of the workers, right? Working on the land to produce maybe food, to produce maybe fuel, and then wool and other type of resources, right? And there was even a social order that divided these type of peasants into lower group. Next, social hierarchy. ठीक है, at the upper end of the hierarchy were the free freemen were often resourceful smallholder. We have seen in the hierarchy that where were the peasants, right? Let me just go through that hierarchy again. This is called hierarchy basically, and you can see the lower one, and the majority of the people were the peasants over there. Okay, as there are 28 slides, I will be sharing it with you. You can just go through them in detail, but I'm just moving forward towards the important slides that we need to discuss now. Okay, how was the castle life in the Middle Ages? Yes, Narmeen, can you please read it, Veda?
Okay, ma'am. Many nobles lived in castles. The great hall was the center of a castle. The walls were decorated with tapestries. Everyone except the lord sat on benches. There was a minstrel gallery for musicians and singers. At
Mm-hmm.
night, servants slept on the floor. The great hall would have at least one fireplace with a chimney. There was a Norman invention and stopped the room filling with smoke.
All right.
The Lord had his own room, called the solar, and his own four-poster bed with curtains for privacy. At the
Yeah.
top of the castle, the lady would have a day room for herself and her maids in waiting. This had the largest windows and the best views. The toilet was called the garderobe and was usually a chute straight into the moat. One way to capture a castle was to climb the chute.
Yes. This all was like how. Okay, nice. I can read it. The education of a young noble began early. Like which of the peoples were selected for being the knights means at the age 7 they are being selected. Then they are sent off to the castle of another lord, means sending them to another lord for training. And then hosting it, then playing chess and learn war strategies to develop fighting skills into that person's. Okay, so at around the age of 14, the boy would become a squire, means then squire is the first version and he will be acting as a servant to the knight. Okay, and the squire will took care of the knight's armor, weapons, and warehouse. And then when there would be the age of the squire would be 21, so it will be converted into knight's authorities, right? So after the age of 21, he would get this one position of knights. Okay, so this is all we have done. What was the life of the peasants, right? It's given in this one slide. Like we have gone through the life of castles as well. That was about the kings, and that was the upper class considered during the middle or dark ages, right? And how was difficult the life of the peasants were there. It's also given over there. Like they were plucking in autumn, sowing in spring, and harvesting in August, right? Work began at dawn, preparing the animals, and then finish the dust, cleaning them down and putting them back into the stalls. Okay. Like many of the working in their huts in a simple loom, the daughter would spin wool under the distaff and spindle, and the wife would weave it into rough cloth. Like they all, like whole family members are working. They are telling you this one thing. Then inside the hut of third of the area is filled with animals. We lived in the hut with the family and then living with those animals as well. Then it was made up of water and obviously they were not for the suitable weather conditions. Then a fire burned in the center of the hut so the air was permanently eye-wateringly smoky means where your eyes feel watery at all the time. Furniture was maybe a couple of stools, a trunk for bedding, and a few cooking pots. That was the life of the peasants, right? And life in a medieval town. Okay. The rich merchants would be allowed to choose a buyer and hold a market. Like now they are talking about the middle class peoples that how they were living, right? Okay. So these were the some of the important slides that need to go through. Okay, one more that how was the church and feudalism were related. Feudalism and the manor system created the divisions among people, shared beliefs in the teachings of the church, bonding people together. Priests and other religious officials administered the sacraments are important religious ceremonies, and this is how kings and peasants were subject to canon law. In matters such as marriage and religious practices, the Holy Roman Empire became the strongest kingdom. So when I will be sharing this one with you, you can just go through it in detail later on. And now I just want to show you the worksheet. Basically, I will be giving you two of the worksheets as your homework. What you people need to do, there we need to make the mind map of Middle Ages and mind map of feudal system. So I want to show you those both worksheets. Just give me a second. I'm going to share it with you. On my screen. Wait. One is Middle Ages mind map and one is feudal system mind map. आपने दोनों worksheets कहाँ पे करनी है? Homework would be on your notebook, right? Okay. One is this one mind map that you can see on your screen. Feudal system. Which of the points you need to include? It's written over here. Write down everything that you know about the feudal system. Taking help from that PowerPoint as well, taking help from your book as well. You can note down the point like how were the rules and why the rules were used and was it fair for everyone or not. Okay, so these are the points you need to include over there. And the next one worksheet is about Middle Ages. Both you have to do it on your history notebooks. Now please have a look. In the boxes below, write down everything you already know or have found out about the Middle Ages. When was the Middle Ages period? What key events happened during its time? What was the life like during the Middle Ages and how did it differ from the life today? Okay, so these both worksheets will be shared with you according means with that PowerPoint resource as well, and you need to complete. Can I ask some of the points that you would be including in this one worksheet? Yes, please. Fatma still, I think so, cannot unmute yourself. Okay, and what about you, Hafs? Are you there? Please unmute yourself. Hafs is not there in the meeting. He left the meeting as I took the name. Okay, Arsalan, you are there, and Naderi, and Narmeen, you are there. So you people can just unmute yourself and please tell me and share any of the point that we would be writing down over here. Means you would be adding in the mind map of feudal system and Middle Ages.
I would add the time of Byzantine Empire and the fall of Constantinople.
Okay. So these are the events that you are talking about. Okay. And the instructions are also mentioned over here, beta, that what you need to include, that what was, like when was this one period, okay, and what key events happened during this time, you need to also consider that. And what was the life like, that we have discussed now, that how the peasants were living, how the castle people were living, and how the middle class was living at that time, okay, and how was it different from the life today, like now people are having the rights, their own privileges, right? And then they were
Now,
not having. G.
now we live in 2024 and not in 1987.
Yes, exactly. And do you know it was not 1987, it is just so before 1987 as well, right? Like we are talking about ADs. Okay, so this homework would be shared in your group. Any other question from me? So then we are just going to end the class, right? So if any question, so I'm there. Otherwise, we need to end the class. Are you clear? So what you need to do as your homework, history note homework should be done on your notebooks, right? And science homework is on your resource pack.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, beta.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, if it is clear, so
Okay,
see you
ma'am.
tomorrow. Okay, Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz Fatma, she was just quiet from the start. Allah Hafiz.